don't really know why I didn't use this camera angle beforehand. It keeps you out of my way, but still hopefully allows you pretty much to see everything I'm doing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the transmission. I went over and borrowed a shop I know's press, but it's someone else's location, so I'm not going to video there. So unfortunately, no video. But I will tell you what I did. First, I'm going to clean this. Okay, that's hopefully installed in there. So let's take a look here real quick. So this is the transmission. And I'll tell you that right now it sounds so much quieter. And the middle bearings are spinning so much easier. I hope that's what the issue was. So, how did I get first gear, second gear, the counter shaft in place where they need to be? The answer is simple, obviously. I used a press. So, let's take a look. I got this whole entire piece put up in the press, and I didn't want to booger up this, or push right here, but not press against this piece. So what I did, I cheated. So I was able to slide this here like so, and then place that against the solid piece on the press. And so as I pressed here, that maintained tension on the center of the bearing race and pressed the main shaft in. Once I got that done, I did the same thing, but here on the counter shaft. If you look closely, you'll see that this is actually a bit too short. Like this is a bit too short in order to work perfectly. So I ended up having to actually set another piece right underneath here to give myself a little bit more clearance. But once I did that, I was able to set all this in and go from there. But yes, so that is what I did in order to get this piece back sort of where it's supposed to go. Now I have this piece on, and I have the counter shaft on. So what we're going to do real quick before I move forward is I'm going to check these bearing locations to see whether or not I got them pressed in well enough. Because what I didn't do whenever I went there was remember to bring my feeler gauge. So, yep, winning. So grabbing my feeler gauge and grabbing here, we can attempt. That's not what you want to do. Alright, so whenever we're checking the standard gear play, we're going to measure, so for first gear, 0.27 to 0.34. Here is 0.28 millimeters. So, it's a bit more difficult to check. Okay, well, I'm going to need to replace this as well. That's another piece that sucks. can't check there, but I can check here. This is supposed to be, second gear is supposed to be 0.12 to 0.19. Here you go, here's 0.12. Supposed to be checking between the balk gears. Oh, that's different. Okay. Balk gear ring clearance. Except standard is somewhere between 1.2 and 1.6 millimeters. Alright, I've taken a look at stuff. This is the needle bearing for third gear, so we will go ahead and apply a liberal amount of gear oil here, both to the outside and to the inside shaft. This is going to be third gear needle bearing, third gear itself, which we will go ahead and move up to one side here. Oops. Now notice we're going to have to sort of slide it and mesh it here. Okay, that's done. I'm going to go with a Synchro. This might be the overdrive, so this must be the overdrive one that I've grabbed here, unfortunately. Let's see if I can find the actual one I'm looking for. You can tell the size difference. This is 5th gear synchro, and this is just all the other gear synchros. I mean, it is quite literally much difference in size. So, yeah, you'll want to grab one of these. So, what I was supposed to do whenever I took off the Synchro Hub here was I was supposed to pay attention to its direction. I didn't, because I didn't read that pay attention to its direction thing until after I had taken it off. So looking here, we see that there is the third main gear, needle bearing, apply gear oil to needle bearing, done. Third and fourth synchronizer hub, pay attention to its direction. So looking here, third, fourth synchronizer hub, it is looking like the extended portion out. So this has a shallower, protrusion here versus here. So the farther one looks like it goes out versus this one, the shallower looks like it goes in. So I'm going to go back and look at my videos as well as some others to see whether that's the case. The third, fourth Synchro Hub is got a, you see like a shallow indent here versus on this side it is flush. It would make sense that the shallower one goes towards fourth gear because you're going to put a snap ring and a washer there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to slip it back on. And I went and checked my previous videos, and I even marked an O there that you can see just sort of maybe lightly. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I wrote an O right there that I can see still. So good news, we are proceeding exactly how we thought we were going to because we made ourselves a note. So this is what I was afraid of. But I won't actually be able to put this on because of this gear, which means I have to take this gear off and then put it back on. If I would have put this stuff on before, I could have put it all together beforehand, but because I didn't do it that way, I now have to take this off. I feared this might happen. I really did. So that's fine. It's just one more thing that I didn't really want to do, but we will adapt and overcome. think it's still better probably to use the bigger puller and not like the tooth-jawed puller. Otherwise, we have a tendency or a chance that we might pink off some of these gears. So let's go ahead and take it off. Fun? How fun is that, right, guys? Pretty fun, huh? Huh? Yeah, no fun? 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 So I hope you guys are having as much fun as I am learning about transmissions. I actually am. Alright, so I'm using 11/16 inch. And let's hope we don't break the gear. I don't know how I'm going to get this gear back on. It's just hard to take off. Input gear off. Still don't see anything wrong with it. That took a bit more work than I thought it was going to, but that's on. Let's go ahead. Washer goes there. Sometimes life makes it really easy whenever it's clearly not the right one. We've got one more snapper over here, and it's a little bit thicker than the original one. So let's see. That's a bit. I think that's a bit snugger. Okay, so now we've got that there. Now, what am I supposed to do? Because I'll thrust washer on main shaft and secure it with snap ring of proper thickness that will minimize clearance of groove in main shaft. I believe that minimizes groove in main shaft. Does it also give the required third gear needs to be between 0.13 and 0.37. So this is the one that you can pretty much you can fit that one. 0.38. You can fit that one too. No other washer here, guys. That's the thickest. I thought I took better notes. It's got to be this reverse counter gear spacer. Yeah, that's what that is. Okay, I'm actually following this. So, position needle bearing, third main gear, bulk ring, and third and fourth synchronizer assembly hub on the front main shaft. Assemble the third and fourth synchro hub. Pay attention to instruction check. Install thrust washer on main shaft. Yep. Secure it with snap ring. Got it. Main drive and counter drive. Install main drive gear with counter drive gear. Assemble. Okay, so what they're telling me to do now is place. This is about 8 minutes of wandering around, checking tolerances, and making sure that the gears rotate together smoothly. I would like to remind you guys that I am still learning how to do this, and this is definitely something that is new to me. So lots of fiddling and checking to make sure things are working the way that they need to work. Hopefully this camera angle has worked and you haven't just, all you've been able to see is like my back, but hopefully it actually allowed you to see. This is a new needle bearing that came with the kit. I'll slide that there. Slide that right. Here, like so. Gear oil that up. So right now what I'm working on is to put this back on. So I'm aiming right at the woodruff keys. Oh man, I don't want to have to take it into the shop again and just use the press, but I think that's what's going to happen, is the press is going to have to come back out.